All right, so today we're going to talk about incontinence. We've got different kinds of incontinence. So stress incontinence, urge, urinary incontinence, as well as frequency. And so with stress urinary incontinence, that a lot of times is a pressure management issue that we're having. So whether we're increasing intra-abdominal pressure with sneezing, coughing, laughing, jumping, different activities, we're not managing our pressure system well. And that includes glottis, diaphragm, and pelvic floor, of course. So with that, I like to talk about posture typically. So we'll go ahead and stand, and we'll go through different standing postures and kind of experiment with doing Kegels or pelvic floor contractions, so that you can kind of play around with that and get a feel for what that's like in different postures and how that really does affect your ability to utilize these muscles well. So we're gonna go ahead into standing, and a lot of times if we think typical standing posture, sometimes we're here, right? We might not realize it, but if we're carrying some things, if we're carrying our babies, for example, a lot of times we're here. And so if you just practice doing a Kegel, my typical cue is act as if you're trying to stop the flow of urine and see what that feels like in this posture. And then compare that. You can work on tucking here, drop rib cage down, and then do a Kegel in this position and compare what that feels like. Versus if we're putting our weight kind of in the center of our feet over arches, relaxing tailbone down towards the floor, relaxing rib cage to stack right on top of pelvis and whatnot, and sternum down, and then practicing here, doing that same Kegel and noticing what that feels like. How much recruitment of those muscles, both in the front of the pelvis versus back of the pelvis, that you can utilize. And then you can even practice doing a Kegel, a fake cough, and then relaxing to kind of work through in this standing posture, challenging the pressure systems that way. So it's one of those things with stress incontinence. And then with urge urinary incontinence, we have things called urge suppression drills or techniques. And a lot of times that is some way to reset the system, to trick the brain almost, and say that, like, hey, maybe you don't need to go just yet. And so that a lot of times something will trigger us, and we'll have this really strong sensation to go to the bathroom. So sometimes I hear people say, as soon as I put my key in the back door, or whatever door you're going into the house, they get that sudden urge to go. And so I tell people, you're gonna stop, take a few deep breaths, and then you're gonna do 5 to 6 pelvic floor contractions. So again, that's gonna be acting as if you're trying to stop the flow of urine. It's a squeeze and lift of those muscles without using glutes or maybe inner thigh muscles or quads or whatnot. And then after you do 5 to 6, you're gonna slowly make your way to the bathroom. And then you can sit on the toilet and then go. Other ways to kind of manage urge urinary incontinence is to, for example, with the key and door syndrome, like I mentioned, try going into your house through a different door. The whole idea is to trick your brain, distract your brain, to think of something else versus the fact that your bladder is sending signals to you that you have to go to the bathroom, even if your bladder is not full. Another tip would be, using like a rubber band or a hair tie around your wrist and using that to create a different stimulus, so snapping that on your wrist or whatnot, to help with that, to distract you. And then frequency could be a combination of multiple things. So in general, this is not for everyone, depending on different medical backgrounds and whatnot. But in general, if you're rushing to the bathroom every kind of 15, 30 minutes, even an hour, it could be a bladder irritant, whether that's too much caffeine, coffee in the morning, soda, citrus, spicy, different things like that may be irritating our bladder, causing some pain or discomfort through there, or too much liquid, that's causing that to kind of constantly us to rush to the bathroom. I challenge people, start this at home, where it's comfortable and it's easier in case you do leak, but try to prolong the time that you're going to the bathroom, maybe 5 minutes each time. same thing, you could work on those urge suppression drills, those 5 to 6 pelvic floor contractions, and then try to prolong that each time. Again, maybe 5-10 minutes each time. And there you have it. Some tips for you to work on at home and on your own for incontinence.